Another day in Gator Nation. Plenty of conversation, I think, was going on today. I wanted to hop
all
in.
week.
Yeah, all week for sure. I wanted to hop in more. I was having to film some community service stuff today for a TV station, so I was kind of out of the office a good bit today.
Was it as rainy in Jacksonville as it was in Orlando?
Yes, man, I'm tired of it. It's been like 3-4 days in a row of just rain, and today's been like the heaviest part of it, but it's just been kind of aggravating the last few days.
I'm mad about it. Snowbirds showed up and they brought their crappy weather with them. It's not right.
All right. We got plenty to discuss. Missouri up this weekend. Florida's still searching for that 6th win in the season to get bowl eligible. I'm not sure anything happened in recruiting the last few days. You guys might have to remind me of some things. But yeah, I mean, on the field, off the field, plenty to discuss. Has it been, as I said in the Nasir Johnson decommitment video? It's we haven't. The last bit of good news we have had is the commitment of LJ McCray like 3 weeks ago. So it's been losses, it's been losing commitments, flips, all that stuff. Need some good news. Need a
win on Saturday.
We do. Most of the questions this week for the Q&A came for the Missouri game, and I put it out there when I sent that email. I was like, I know there's probably going to be a whole lot of big picture questions that want to be asked, but while we only got 2 games left, maybe keep it on talk of the actual football games. We only got 2 left, but I know mostly the big picture talk is kind of dominating everything right now.
Let's just enjoy the last 2 games that we have in college football. It's our season's about to be over, and it's the greatest time of the year. So let's try to enjoy it, even though the outcome may not be what we want.
We'll certainly try. What I hate to even bring this up. I'm as pretty anti-participation trophy as you can get, but there's probably not going to be enough bowl eligible teams this year. So there's an outside shot. A 5-7 Florida team gets into a bowl game.
It's messed up if we get into a bowl game before James Madison does, for what it's worth.
But here's the thing about that. They will get in as well. They are part of that rule too. They are deemed ineligible unless there are not enough qualified teams. So James Madison and Jacksonville State will get in before a 5-win team out there. So credit to those teams. Of course, James Madison can't play for the Sun Belt Championship, which is stupid as well. But there is the clause, and the way, and I know they filed and tried to get in motion to get into a bowl game, but it looks like if there's not enough eligible teams, they will be eligible for a bowl as well. So yeah, I do agree with you there. It would be pretty stupid of college football to give a 5-7 team a bowl shot and not a team like James Madison.
Do we really want to go to a bowl? It's messed up to say that, but did last year's bowl help anything?
I do want the practices. If we're gonna bang the drum that this is a young team, well then get this young team as many practice reps as possible. If DJ Lagway's on campus, he has already said he wants to take part in bowl practices. So of course that's allowed. So if he can come in and get some reps as well, get his feet wet, that's more practices for him before he'll even take part in spring practice as well. So The game itself, the bowl game itself, would be really secondary to me compared to the practices that the team would get.
I'd rather we not get a bowl if we're just going to get embarrassed again. I mean, that's just pathetic.
Yeah, I get that. That would certainly stink as well. It would probably.
And we only how many practices did we get last year? I feel like it was just like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess better than nothing.
I think it
wasn't
was
15.
something like that. It's like 7 or 8, I believe, and I think it might have supposed to be 8, and then I think they ended up taking one away when they traveled, or it was something like that. I forget, but yeah, I get it. It would almost seem like piling on at that point too. If you are 5 and 7, go to a bowl game and go get beat by 20, and
yeah, I mean that's just going to add more fuel to the fire,
right?
The momentum just going in the wrong direction.
Here's another thing too that I do worry. I mean, I do think practice would be better than nothing, but if we are expecting staff changes and all that kind of stuff too, how much of those practices really worth?
Yeah, is it like high quality practices going on? I mean,
yeah. So that would be another way to look at it. I would take it because of the practices, but at the same time, taking a look at the big picture and who knows how many staff members will be on the staff next year. Hey, I don't know how much value would actually be there.
Yeah, that's like you said. It's not like we're getting the full 15 practices because we'll be playing a much earlier bowl game. Like last year.
Well, not necessarily. There's a couple of crappy ones after the new year. There's a lot of sin there.
I was about to say there are those 2 that like hang out in between the semifinal and final of the college football playoffs. So maybe it would be one of them.
Yep. Service academies usually end up with those.
Man, we are really stretching it here, aren't we?
I mean, wouldn't we rather have the staff out recruiting? I mean,
and focusing on portal.
Yeah, you got the portal too. Yeah, so who knows?
I mean, the portal's more important.
Yeah, right. I mean, I remember that being brought up last year. Grand scheme of things, I don't know if it really hurt all that much, but
I'm down bad. I don't care if we beat Florida State. We can get blown out by anybody in any bowl. I don't care, but.
Yeah, no. If we earn it with
analytics,
yeah, we take it. It's just, I guess, the question if we go 5 and 7, and it's like, but I understand both points.
Y'all want to start recruiting first, or do y'all want to go through a little bit of Missouri talk? I'll let y'all drive the show there.
The one question I have on Missouri is I know their offense is very good. They have a good offense. How's their defense, Dave? Like, and especially how's their run defense?
Their run defense is pretty good. I put it in the preview yesterday. I think what you worry there, they're coming off a really good performance against Tennessee last week. Tennessee, one of the best rushing attacks in the country, and they completely stymied Tennessee's rush offense. If you haven't listened to the preview yet, I will preview the preview. So something that caught as I was looking at Missouri this week, something that caught my eye, and for them, they put a new wrinkle into their defense this late in the season. Hey, good coaching by them, but they went to an odd man front where they were playing a lot of more 3-down linemen instead of their normal 4-down linemen, and it completely caught Tennessee off guard. It completely surprised Tennessee, and they shut Tennessee run game down. Tennessee rushed last week 83 yards on 23 carries, and Tennessee had the number 3 rushing offense in the country coming into that game. So they are changing things late in the season. As I said, good identification by them. And Eli Drinkowitz said they are going to continue doing that on defense to finish out this year. So, hey, look, at least for Florida's benefit, it is on tape. It won't catch Florida by surprise like it caught Tennessee by surprise last week. But overall, they're a pretty good rush defense. I'm trying to pull it up. But that as far as a little bit of strategy goes, that caught my eye, what they were able to do last week and how they were able to do it. But overall, they are the 20th rushing defense in the country, giving up 110, basically 111 yards a game. So I put the preview. This may be, I know some people have wanted to see this offense open up in the passing game a little bit. This might be the game you see it.
Yeah, because I'm being Captain Obvious here, but we're going to have to keep up in the points, in this game. So it's not a rout. And as we know, Billy likes to kind of everything goes from the run game. And if we're not able to run the ball, it could get ugly.
Yeah, I guess for me is
Utah and Kentucky.
Yeah, Utah, Kentucky. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Those two defenses stymied the Gators rushing attack. But hey, I mean, Tennessee came into the Florida game with a pretty good rush defense as well. Maybe you take advantage of it. Maybe you get something going. Napier can scheme up some really good run plays here and there. Not as consistent this year because of the offensive line play, but he can do it. Look, and to finish this season out, you're looking for this team to do something they haven't done all year, and that's just to put a good performance together. That it's still possible. Now we only got 2 games left to see it, and they haven't really shown it yet. First half versus Tennessee was the best we've seen it, both sides of the ball. Can they go put 3 quarters together, and maybe that's enough for a win in one of these next 2 games, or do they have to do it for 4 quarters? But if they got it in them, I mean, you've got to go out there. I mean, I don't see Missouri beating themselves. I don't see Florida State beating themselves. So more than likely, Florida's going to have to play a good 3 quarters, a good full game in one of these next 2 games. So for this one, I mean, can you get the run game going? Do you abandon it? Or, we saw it. You mentioned those 2 games a little bit where Florida would just kind of abandon the run game a little bit, got a little bit too far away from it at times. But now going against a Missouri defense that's pretty good at stopping the run, does it seem like you're running into a brick wall and you don't want to try it over and over again? Sometimes the abandoning the run or pass, sometimes a slippery slope, and it's a thin margin there for being able to determine if you've abandoned one over the other. But for Florida's sake, I hope I hope there's something there in that ground game, because it really does make this offense click a whole lot better. They're asking Mertz to go drop back 40, 45 times. I'm still not sure is the best route for this offense. But at the same time, given how good Missouri is, I'm not sure running into that brick wall over and over again is the answer either.
Yeah, I'm just getting. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if it's any consolation, their best linebacker's out for the year too. So at least there's that, huh?
Who?
I mean, it's Tyron Hopper. You got to add in, right?
Best, not the one we miss the most. That's
Hopper's been playing.
Yeah, Chad Bailey. Chad Bailey's their guy. He's like a veteran.
Yeah.
He's been there forever, and he's out for the rest of the year.
Did he get hurt last week?
I think it was Kentucky, I want to say.
Okay.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, he's been out.
I know Hopper got banged up last week, but I think he came back out there. Couple questions here, and we kind of just talked about it. Justin Wood did ask, is there an upset for the Gators this week? What has to happen? Turnovers, the Gators hold the ball, play, keep away, elite special teams, LOL. It's hard to see the path for an upset given how balanced Missouri is on offense lately. So, I mean, I could take the easy way out and say turnovers, but, if Missouri doesn't beat themselves in that regard, what can be that path? And I do think it is. Some people have wanted to see it. They wanted to see this this passing game open up a bit. The problem is I just don't see it opening up down the field, like in the big plays. So maybe it's breaking tackles. Maybe it's Wilson and Pearsall catching a 10, 15, 20-yarder, breaking a tackle and off to the races. Can you get a couple of those? Can you get some explosives from ETN? Maybe the ground game's not going enough, but there's 1-2 explosive plays at the right time that keep you in it. I think it's kind of going to be something like that. Yards after the catch, and, maybe breaking some tackles, maybe getting some good field position due to special teams or something. I mean, I think the return game itself actually has improved a little bit with Pearsall. I go back to the Arkansas game, and I know Napier, because of some of the special team mistakes in that game, that overshadowed the performance there. But he was right. The return game itself was really good in that game. Of course, not enough to get a victory there, but It's probably, to me, gonna take something like that. I don't see Florida just magically being able to pass the ball down the field. So can they get the explosives in the run game? Can they get catch and run explosives by Wilson and Pearsall?
And we do have a secret weapon, Trevez Johnson. He comes from Missouri.
That's right, he does, doesn't he?
There you go. So there's some hope for you.
Yeah, we know he misses tackles, or did, in orange and blue. He's gotten a lot of playing time this year too.
Yeah, that Tiger didn't change his stripes. He's still missing tackles.
Justin also sent in, what changes? All right, I have to read this the right way. What changes Missouri making the offseason that made them so successful? Do you think Florida can make similar changes like Missouri in the offseason so that Billy Napier's tenure can be more successful? I did dive into that a little bit on social media this week. I believe I shared it in the Discord this week as well, but I do want to share a quote from Eli Drinkwitz, because that has been certainly a popular topic. And, Billy Napier and offensive coordinator. And, of course, that's not really the main issue of this team right now, but can it help him in other areas? And kind of in a way that had been discussed with Eli Drinkwitz. He went and hired Kirby Moore as a offensive coordinator. That is Kellen Moore's brother, and from Fresno State. But Drinkwitz, on making the decision to hire an offensive coordinator in Kirby Moore, he said, quote, going back and evaluating what we were doing offensively, it became very clear to me that the requirements of a head coach were causing me to not have full focus on the offense, Drinkwitz said at Moore's introductory press conference back in January. I needed to hire somebody who could come in and understand the vision we have for offensive football, the vision we have for our program, and score some more points. I'm going to go back to what Billy Napier said this week on offense. He said, yeah, I'd like to score more to a game. Yeah. Well, can an offensive coordinator get that score or more, when the offense has that lull in the second and third quarters that we've seen a good bit? As I said, I think, if you start poking holes at this team, going to the offensive side of the football is not where I would start. I don't think any of us would start there. But is there more big picture for Billy Napier to help out this team a bit more? And get more out of being a head coach? But in a similar fashion, Eli Drinkwitz went and did the same thing last year with Kirby Moore. And part of that is too, they're a very experienced team. And a lot of people were picking them to have this jump, not this big of a jump this year, but people were not picking them down in the dweller of the SEC East. They thought Missouri would be better. Most of it was based on bringing a whole lot of experienced talent back. I don't think a lot of people knew how Kirby Moore would fit in, how much of an impact he would actually have, and if that would help Drinkwitz. But I think we can say, I don't think it's just, hey, they're a year older. No, they made some changes. Drinkwitz made some changes, and it really benefited their team. So there's a relation right there, Justin, of maybe how that can help Florida as well.
Yeah, and he was the worse play caller than Billy was. Like when Drinkwitz was calling plays last year.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, part of that too, Morris come in and really helped Brady Cook too. I think Brady Cook's a pretty darn good quarterback this year.
Yeah, and like you alluded to in one of your episodes, this is kind of what we expected Florida to be. In the middle of the pack and everything, and be a top 25 team the way Missouri is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting flashbacks of when we had Muschamp, where Missouri just blows the doors off. I hope that's not what happens Saturday.
It being a road game, that scares me now. Yeah, that's big worrisome. I think some of the Missouri blowouts that we've had, those have been in the swamp, right?
I think, yeah, there was. I know there was one in the swamp. I'm trying to remember those. I just remember
2018. That was Mullen's first year. The game after Georgia, Drew Lock had a really good game on us.
Yep.
And Kyle Trask kind of came in.
Broke his leg or
got
injured.
What
in
was
practice.
the score for 2000? Yeah, broke his foot. What was the score for the 2013 Missouri-Florida game?
Yep, that's where I'm going. Florida, Missouri game history.
I know they won like 42-13.
That was 14 on homecoming.
All right, let's see.
I remember that.
And their offense had like no stats. Like it was weird.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
they
right.
didn't
That was
throw.
it was like one of the worst possible losses you could have. So let's see. So in 13 in Columbia, 36-17, Missouri win. Man, so 2 years in a row, they just spanked Florida, 13 and 14, 36-17, and then 42-13.
Yeah, I want to say that game that game in Missouri in 13 was the game where Tyler Murphy like broke his shoulder or whatever he did, where Morningway had to replace him.
I think you're right. And then in 2017, man, so when they've put it on us, they've put it on us in back-to-back years. So I'll go back one more time. 13 and 14, 36-17, 42-13, and then in back-to-back years in 17 and 18, 45-16. That was the weird Muschamp game. And then in 18, Mullen's first year, 38-17. And then they got Dan Mullen fired in 2021 with their overtime loss.
Yeah, that weird Muschamp game, that was the game I remember where Driscoll was smiling at the end of the game because Treon Harris threw that wild touchdown at the very end.
Oh, yeah. So I want to see. In 2017, let's go to the box score. Is that the one where they barely had any stats but put up 45 points?
That was 14.
That was 14.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was 14.
Okay.
They ran two kicks back and like a punt, and then they strip sacked Driscoll and scored. I remember that game. I remember getting screamed at by my dad for joining in on the Fire Muschamp chant.
I think that was one of the most painful games I've ever been to in person. That one, for some reason, I think it was just the boiling point for Muschamp or McElwain.
I have got this up. So here we go. It was a 42-13 Missouri win, and Missouri had 7 first downs. They had 99 yards rushing. They had 20 yards passing. They had 119 total yards of offense. Oof. Well,
Dave, I got in here a bit late, but I mean, what do you think it'd probably take at least 40 points to win?
That's a good point. I meant to bring up an under over total for this game. Yeah, I do. I think I had Missouri scoring 37. So yeah, I think it would take 40 points to win. I absolutely do. So
I think we can get to about 34 or so, but I don't know if we can get to that 40.
Yeah,
that's just that extra touchdown that we've been talking about all year.
Yeah, I wrestled with 37-30, 37-27. So that's about where I'm at with it.
I think the weather is going to be really cold, low 30s. I don't know how historically well we play in that. I know as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, that's always been a nightmare every time we play under 32 degrees. Florida guys, playing in the cold.
Yeah, if you
had nothing else, Graham Mertz would be good.
Yeah, good point. Home state. Maybe used to that in the Wisconsin days too. And let's see what game time temperature should be. Should be about 45 degrees at kickoff.
Okay, that's not bad. It must have warmed up. I know a few days ago they were saying about 10 degrees colder.
Yeah, but the low.
That's not bad.
Yeah, the low is 40, I believe.
I assume y'all probably have already talked about recruiting.
We have not. Yeah. I gave the choice, and the first question that came up was Missouri. So we will get to recruit. Let me get to this last question here, and then we can kind of shift away from Missouri a bit. Jason Fletcher sent in, what's your evaluation of the defense up to this point? Is the issue scheme, talent, lack of experience, coaches, and players? Yes.
Yes.
Also, can you explain how the hiring of an OC will indeed address some of the issues, some of the defensive issues and special teams issues? So folks will stop with the "we don't need a OC, the offense ain't the problem" argument. Okay, well, we kind of went there a little bit already. Yeah, I just think on that front, it's getting Napier some help. I think when these staff changes hopefully do happen after this season, some more experience help to go along with that. But I think we just see there's probably too much on the plate, and we'll see if Billy Napier can come around on that. But evaluation of the defense up to this point: scheme, talent, lack of experience, coaches and players. Jokingly, but yes, I mean, all those are issues. It seems like it's a different issue every play. Maybe, hey, it might be because somebody's young, or it might be somebody's just overwhelmed, overmatched. It might be not understanding the scheme. I mean, I think it's not a consistent issue down to down. That's part of the reason it can't really necessarily just easily be fixed. Also, at the same time, I mean, players. I mean, maybe I'll fully admit I overvalued the defensive line coming into this season. I was buying into and not that he's had a terrible year or anything like that, but the Cam Jackson hype and the Caleb Banks hype and Princely, and not saying he'd play, he's bad or anything either, but, I'd like to maybe see a topic that's kind of come up this week, just more as a pure pass rusher. Quit using him as a creeper, quit dropping him back into coverage, let him go do his thing. If he's putting up these numbers of being a pretty successful pass rusher, but the sacks aren't there, we'll give him more chances at it. Maybe it's time for Austin Armstrong to adapt adapt the defense a little bit more to the personnel. Especially when you need another win to get bowl eligible, I understand the argument of we need to get these guys reps in the system so it will pay off down the road. Well, right now, maybe the most important goal is just getting bowl eligible.
Yeah, a win.
Yeah,
a win is most important. I mean, we're on a losing streak. We need to turn that around.
I think a lot of the issues too,
whatever it takes.
Yeah, whether it be some of the aspects that we've already put out there. Do you go full conservative to help limit some of these explosive plays? I mean, we know how god awful Florida is right now at giving up explosives. But the problem is we see, even at times when the plays are in front of them, they can't tackle. So okay, oh great, we're going to be conservative. We'll keep everything in front of us. Okay, can you make the tackle then? I mean, it's not showing. Now, some of these tackles are one-on-ones, missed tackles. Maybe you get more guys around the ball and at least slow them down enough to where you get more gang tackling if you're in a lot more zone. But it's definitely a lot of one-on-one tackling that we've seen a whole lot of these issues this year too. Guys are in position a lot of time. Other times they're not. The most frustrating ones to me are the defenders behind a receiver. The receiver's back is to the defender. Should be an easy tackle. And somehow the receiver goes for a big explosive play, a run after the catch. Other times a receiver or a running back, another quarterback just shrugs a player off. You got ones, guys, the defenders running at the offensive player. They don't know how to break a tackle down. It's an arm tackle. It's a flailing tackle. It's two-hand touch. Make a play. I mean, I think we're at right now, especially safety and linebacker. There's some youth, but not totally at linebacker right now. Not Miguel Mitchell at safety. So I'm not going full bore with the youth excuse, and I've said that numerous times this week. I can give a pass sometimes for Castell and Thornton at safety, but your edge, your linebackers, your safeties getting exposed on outside runs, and some of that's got to do with tackling as well. They don't run fit well, giving up huge runs. So there's just a litany of issues, and can you get 1-2 fixed to end this year if you go a little more conservative? I mean, if it was easy, they would have fixed it by now. But there are just a lot of issues when we see what we see each and every Saturday and all the yards that are given up.
feel like we're pretty decent in the red zone. What are those stats like?
Ooh, let me see if I can find that.
Because I feel like the explosive plays are our big problem, and that's what I believe that's what Will Miles had highlighted with Armstrong when he was hired.
He did. Will was on that one for sure.
I just think we're a soft football team. We're not physical. Tackling is mostly effort. I mean, the red zone. I mean, defense should get better in the red zone. The field is shrunk down. I mean, there's not as much room to work. So I mean that
we do seem soft. Like I mean, it's easy to point fingers at strength and conditioning. It always happens when you're not good, but it's like we're not getting any push on either side of the ball.
We're not physical anywhere. I mean, and that's in my opinion part of why we're not a good tackling team. Like I said, tackling is it's a whole lot of effort. I mean, you can have the right technique, but you've got to be willing to get out there and actually make the tackle. You've got to be physical. I don't see a lot of physicality on our defense.
All right.
I mean, that too, but also, as a coach, you're supposed to go out there and put your guys in a position to make a play. And then you take a dude that's 430 pounds and you try to get him to go out there and run a stunt, and that makes no sense. So kind of concerns me a little bit.
Florida's red zone defense is not good, guys. 94th in the country at 87.5 scoring percentage.
Oh.
So
even when it should be good, it's not good.
Yeah,
nothing's
good. Should be better.
So, but let me go to touchdown percentage and see if it's any better. Maybe they're just giving up a ton of field goals. Off the top of my head, I don't think it's going to be that much better. Yeah, I'm in the 60s now. Okay, let's just go ahead and say it's not good. Okay, and just touchdown percentage in the red zone, Florida's 100th. So, no, they're not better in the red zone.
I don't know why it just seemed
no,
like
you're right.
Working,
I mean, especially last week versus LSU. You had the goal line stop, and that was one stop. Then they had all the explosives, so they didn't even have many red zone chances. But
I still think it might be
that's
worth
true. They
playing
scored
with.
from 80 out every play.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. It's a catch-22. Florida is 42nd in red zone chances.
Well, like we just said about LSU, because we've given
exactly
some big plays.
exactly. It's a catch-22.
Yep.
Oh man, we go down. That's what I love about this chat. So we go down some rabbit holes sometimes. Never know where we're going to go.
Yeah, it's just going to be another game of basically asking our offense to score every time they touch the ball.
Pretty much.
Because I mean, our defense may get a stop or two early in the game, but when is our offense? It's like you said, when have we played complementary football to that? I mean, we had chances to earlier in the game last week to really put some pressure on LSU, and we kind of, squandered them. So.
Yeah, it stinks. I didn't want to necessarily point it out because, as I said plenty of times, it's not fair for to ask the offense to be perfect. But man, that's what pulling upsets are about. You got to do something special. I mean, you got to do something special most of the time to pull off an upset. So when you had your opportunity in the first half, when the defense actually did get a couple stops, man, how nice would it have been to put 14 more points on the board out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's not fair, but it is what it is. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation.
Which is sad. It was like, you can swap scores and swap scores and swap scores, but it seemed like every time the defense, and they don't get many stops, but every time they did get a stop, we turn around and go 3 and out.
Yeah.
And just couldn't capitalize on it.
Gator Truth, he had a good stat. He of course, because it was a discussion that I had earlier this week, of course, of just the LSU game, but we don't know if it ultimately makes any difference or whatever. But let me see if I can find that, because he combined a couple of games there this season. Yeah, Gator Truth 133. He said D isn't getting many stops, but held Georgia to a field goal or less on 5 actual drives, not counting the end of the half, and LSU to a field goal or less on 4 drives. Florida had 0 points in response to those 9 stops. Ouch.
Yeah.
That's the complimentary.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's the complimentary
0 for
football.
9.
Yeah, that's the complimentary football part of it. Like I said.
Well, I mean, it was. I mean, go ahead.
That's it. Ultimately, does it make a difference in win-loss column? Probably not. But man, I mean, who knows? Put some more pressure on LSU. Do they fold it all last week? You know, I don't know. Maybe still reaching for stars a bit, but.
I mean, I think that game goes different if they don't overturn that catch by Jackson. I mean, I think that we were still going in the right direction, but as soon as that happened, it all went downhill.
Seems like the last couple we've had like one play, and as soon as that happens, it kind of is the end of the night, regardless.
Definitely, I agree.
Well, it kind of is when your defense, is what ours is.
Yeah, it's like the 4th down play against Georgia. You don't get that, and then it's just when that thing didn't work, it was over. And same thing with them overturning that catch with Jackson last weekend.
I still don't know how they overturned that.
I don't either. I don't know what evidence. Somebody must have got paid off.
When the ball moved, but that's not what replay's for. That is absolutely not what it's for.
Yeah, I mean, there was like, what's the rules? It's supposed to be 100% control. I mean, I guess his hand kind of.
No, there was evidence in the replay. The ball moved. It rolls when he hits the ground, but it's stupid application.
Okay, yeah, I mean, because it did move, and like it's like technically, it's like, but did he lose possession?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's just bad application. It's like, come on, that's a catch.
I mean, yeah, we've seen that same exact type of catch ruled to catch.
And they always say on the broadcast too that it's like there has to be substantial evidence. It's like I never saw any substantial evidence for it to be overturned. They always repeat that in the broadcast, and it's like there's nothing. I don't think anybody saw that to overturn that.
Yeah, and you guys know me. I mean, I rarely talk refs and bad calls and such, but since we were on the subject. All right,
since we're on the subject, the SEC officials overall are terrible.
You guys ready to turn the page to recruiting?
Oh, do we have to?
Do we have to?
What are you talking about? This chat never talks about recruiting. That's why I brought up Missouri first, because I was like, well, we might as well talk about something different for a change.
Yeah,
start with that.
Sure. I mean, we can still talk flips. We can talk Florida gymnastics if you want to.
No. Go to the recruiting. I'm just kidding.
I thought we were talking about flips.
Hey, we do have a good
game.
Round ball might be okay.
Yeah, that might be. That might be for sure. Yeah, guys. Of course. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. There's no sprinkling sugar on this. It's not great right now. Not trending great right now either. We'll see what Amaris Williams does, and hopefully he'll never make the decision to flip from Florida to Ohio State. What's trending and maybe be a fourth one here, but since last Saturday has not been good with Waller, Mack, and of course Johnson on the way out. Mack, I think we all in a roundabout way could have maybe saw coming, maybe can gloss over a bit as well. Still kind of stinks in this class, cornerback where cornerback recruiting is in this class right now. And so far, But of course, I think Waller, and look, what did we spend almost the first 30 minutes of this chat about? It was, how terrible this defense has played. And when you lose Waller, when you lose Mack, when you lose Johnson, it certainly is worth bringing up for a side of the ball that we know needs all the help they can get. Now, of course, the impact of these guys probably will not be felt all that much next year. But, of course, we know this was a class we have circled so far in being a difference maker for Billy Napier. We see the issues on that side of the ball. You had some good players coming in on that side of the ball, and right now you don't. So hopefully there's some backup plans. Hopefully there's some other guys that will be making their way into this class that can help make up for it. But right now, when the way the season is going, with the way these 3 flips have happened right now, certainly, I do not think it's a stretch to say right now it's a cause for concern.
Yeah, out of the guys we want to hang on to, Amaris is like, out of all those guys, I that's the one I really, really want to hold on to. Out of the Waller and the Johnson and all those guys, it's like that guy's got tremendous potential. I feel like he could come in day one and play a lot.
We need all the linemen we can get.
Yeah, you got that right too.
What's concerning is with the interior D-line recruiting for
Yes.
Napier, it's getting very Mullen-esque, like he brought in Will Norman last year, and now it's like insiders are saying there's a good chance he's gone. That was our only D tackle last cycle. And now our only D tackle this cycle, Johnson, just left. So it's like, this is like this could like just destroy a whole coach's tenure if you're not recruiting interior D line, as we saw with Mullen.
Yeah,
you can't really rely on these transfers in the defensive tackle. I just if we're relying on Ken Jacksons and Cameron, the Banks kids of the world every year to get that's rough.
Yeah, and let's not forget this is the second. I mean, Florida had 2 pretty good, at least size wise. Johnson shot up the rankings a bit, but Makai Burrow was in this class as well. He was a defensive tackle, and he decommitted. Now maybe Florida can get him back because it looked imminent that he was going to flip to Georgia after he decommitted, but that hasn't happened yet. So can you get him back in the fold? But I mean, you had 2 defensive tackles in this class at one point, and now you have none.
Georgia's full. They don't want them now.
Right. That's another thing. And so my thing is, does the way this season go make him look elsewhere? There's a chance you probably could have brought him back in the class. But now with the results on the field, is that going to cause him to go look somewhere else now?
The crazy thing is you look at Georgia's class, they have 28 or 29 commits. How are they going to process it out enough guys to get that many people in? I mean, you're a high schooler looking at that. Do you look at the numbers or what? I mean, it's crazy what Kirby can do when he's got 28 commits and he's going to have to process out NFL caliber players to get more.
Yeah, on
Burrow, going to go to the NFL.
Yeah, on Burrow, reading on Georgia's On3 site, they still have him as a potential commit for their class. The summary on him is they'll likely take his recruitment all the way up to signing day. 6'5", 350-pound defensive lineman decommitted from Florida back in September. Georgia's been in a strong position since. Florida has crept back into the picture here. Auburn and Michigan are both programs to watch.
Dude, how many scholarships do these guys have? It's got to be more than us, dude. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't have more.
They're going to take 30.
But I don't know how it cycles out for them.
It always works itself out.
Yep.
They'll the ones that don't.
Yeah, we'll
make
take their leftovers that get pushed out. It's okay.
Exactly.
Those always work out well for us.
We'll get the Kimbers and the Coxes.
Brenton Cox.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy's going to have to close somehow with a D tackle, a left tackle, and hold on to that edge because, I mean, this line of scrimmage, it's just not where it needs to be right now. It's just.
Yeah, you mean
it's where you win games in the SEC. It's a line of scrimmage league. I mean,
you can't
terrible.
transfer portal those positions. I mean, it's just
it's
been disappointing that the D tackle recruiting.
Yeah, there's a couple of JUCO guys Florida's kind of trying to get into the mix for. There's still DeAndre Robinson out there from Orlando. He's committed to Texas, of course, so that one's going to be tough. Probably to pull him away with the success Texas is having. But hey, grew up a Gator fan, so I mean, maybe down the road, close to signing day, some signing day magic or something happens there with Robinson. But also Dalen Evans, we'll see what happens there. Texas A&M commit, of course, the heavy interest in Florida, really dating back to the spring. But does the firing of Jimbo at A&M maybe open the avenue for him a little bit more to come into this one? I know there's some question now. He was supposed to visit for the Florida State game, but I think has said he may have surgery that week, so I don't know if he can be able to get into town or not. So Evans is one I'd still say to keep the eye on, and Burrow. Those are the two guys. But Evans still maybe not a true defensive tackle. That would be the worry there.
The thing that bothers me about Johnson, Nasir Johnson decommitting is like we were on him early, and it's like Georgia didn't even want him. It's like they circle back around. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess dealing with stuff in life, when people choose me first, you kind of want to go with him, but it's like Kirby just takes what he wants, just like it was with Mullen.
Yeah, he's playing keep away. He wants to keep Florida down. I mean, can't blame him. This is what Urban used to do a little bit, You just take these guys just because it just hurts us.
I don't know if I agree with that, though. That one's tough. I don't know if you build a culture the way Kirby's building a culture in a team just by doing that. Certainly on the outside looking in, though, it does look like that.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be many spots he does that a year, maybe one or two.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he takes 10 kids to play keeper.
Yeah, but man, and I haven't heard you guys say this, but I heard so much this week of, oh, he's taking the easy way out, or you're going to Georgia. Are you serious with that? First of all, the competition there is going to be a lot more than it is at Florida. Given how they play defense, you think what they do is easy? No, it's not. I can't. Don't down the kid because we didn't come out on the winning side of that. Don't give me that he doesn't want to try hard because he's going to Georgia.
I never thought that. That one just hurt the worst.
Oh yeah,
That one hurt. That one hurt the worst out of all the ones losing because we desperately need D tackles.
Well, no, like you said, I think the part there that hurts the most is Georgia not showing interest, and then almost as soon as they do, it's all right. Here we go.
Oh yeah, it's like you're with the cute girl, and then a hotter girl finally shows interest, and you're like, all right, well, I'll just go ahead and jump over there to the hotter girl, even though the cute girl that's shown you interest and been good to you the whole time. Let's just jump over to this other girl that's flashy and I don't know.
At the end of the day, man, winners want to play with winners, and that's just what it is.
Yeah,
man, you're right about that.
Eating. I guess Darius Hayes on the list of players we should be worried about.
I go back and forth on that one. I haven't heard a whole lot on that. I think as much
I did see a recent update. He's not going to be visiting Miami this weekend. So
okay, I was about to say, and not looking forward, but I will say, as much as he's visited in the past, of course, I think it still sticks in your head a little bit. But I'm not hearing a whole lot on that. I think we all kind of knew to look out for Nasir and Waller and all that kind of stuff, but I don't get that sense with Hayes. Could it change? Of course it could, but once my Mississippi State contact, not Mississippi State, state of Mississippi contact wouldn't get back in touch with me with Waller, who kind of told me that Waller was going to come like 3 days before he committed. Once I couldn't get an answer back out of them, what was going on, I kind of saw the writing on the wall.
be good if he visits Miami. They're giving away buy one get two tickets.
I
So
saw that. Buy one get two free. I mean, oof.
Can you help me do this one?
Man, if I lived closer, I'd take them up on that.
Hey, I know. Go see some college football. Yeah. And we'll see what Florida does at corner now. I mean, certainly. Zay Mincy, of course, the big target there. Hopefully, you can finish it off with him. But as we said, if you got guys slipping away from the program right now, what's the confidence level that you can go get your big targets to finish this class off?
Money.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to hide behind that fact. I mean, that's what it's got to be.
I mean, I'd like to see us a lot of these. I'm not sure it's already been done already. I'd like to see a lot of these schools that are firing coaches for us to go after a lot of those prospects. Maybe Mississippi State's got some kids on there. Sorry, guys. Maybe Mississippi State or some of these other schools have got some kids that we could take off their commit list.
Yeah, we'll see too what goes like. What's the chain reaction of A&M? Whoever they hire. That goes for assistant coaches as well. That goes into a lot of these kids' decisions as well. So we'll see where it goes. But man, got to get some good news, whether it be a win or if Napier's got some recruit that's waiting to go in his back pocket, or can you make something happen where you get some good news on that front? It's got to happen soon. We need something on off the field that can get some kumbaya back in here. I think we're a long way from kumbaya.
The flip side of that is go ahead.
I was going to say maybe he can have some kids send out some shutdown recruitment graphics.
Yeah, the hostage tweets like they had with Cristobal.
Yep.
Maybe I was just going to say, with the flip side to coaches leaving is, hey, there's no telling who we might be able to pull in with some coaches coming too. If you hire some quality assistants, there might be some guys that want to come play with those guys.
Yeah, good point. Good point there too. Probably all goes back to the timeline. Yeah, there you go. Yep, it goes all to timeline. So just these next 6 weeks, guys, are just going to be, I guess 4 to 6 weeks are just going to be unbelievable with, I think, storylines. We got 2 games left, signing days, visits and recruiting storylines, coaching firings and hirings, and then signing day. I mean, these all the way up to right before Christmas is going to be never a dull moment for sure. I think I heard that somewhere before.
Weren't we trending for Jaden Ball? Weren't we trending to land him at one point?
Yeah, I know. I haven't heard much on that front since that kind of talk. Since that talk was around.
Oh my. Well, maybe we can land that JUCO defensive tackle that's visiting. He seems like a pretty good prospect.
All
right, guys. Anything else? Guess not.
Just need to win.
That is true.
I get a plea. Let's not burn the house down if we lose to Missouri.
Hey, I've already said I was kind of at rock bottom, so I'll talk about the game. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to be said as far as big picture and all that kind of stuff. There's really not left. There's not much left to be said there. What games are we all watching as a family all day on?
Trying to see. I can't remember what the schedule is for this weekend.
I'm looking up, but we got
the slate is abysmal.
It is. Dang, man, I hate that one. We got night games, and then the day games are garbage.
Yeah, the only good games are at night, as I recall.
Yeah, Louisville, Miami at noon. So I know we'll all be keeping an eye on that one. Utah, Arizona. Man, that's on the Pac-12 network at 2:30. That stinks. Georgia, Tennessee at 3:30. North Carolina, Clemson at 3:30. Yeah, dang. Washington, Oregon State at 7:30. Texas, Iowa State at 8.
Clemson and North Carolina will be a good game.
Yeah,
but I don't care about it.
Yep.
It's not even
they're
premier programs at this point.
Yeah, there's not a good slate this week. We got Florida State for a night game, so whoever's going to be in Gainesville for that, get one last all-day tailgate.
What?
Man, kids are active tonight, Harrison.
Is it?
I'm sorry, Dave. I try to put it on mute when I can. My son's just having a blast tonight. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get some points in, but it's like he's wanting me to read books and everything. I'm sorry.
There you go. But that'd pretty much do it anyway. UCLA, USC at 3:30. NC State, Virginia Tech. Yeah, this is not a great slate of games.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Chip Kelly, because I got the feeling they were pretty happy with him last year.
They were.
Crazy?
That is one of those winning cure-all things, I guess, because, I mean, look, it's been no secret his relationship with boosters, and honestly, he's kind of Mullen-esque there. Didn't really
We'd have fired him twice.
Yeah. He doesn't get along with the people he needs to get along with behind the scenes, and of course, you can overlook that a bit when you're winning. Probably one more last year than some expected, but of course, this year the record nowhere near as good, and they got tired of it pretty quick this year. So it'd be interesting to see where he goes. I could see him being one of those guys, if he's not going to, kiss the boosters' hands and not really fully engage with NIL and stuff. He could just be one of those guys that's just done, tired of it, or go to another school where it doesn't really mean as much there. UCLA is making that jump to the Big Ten, so I think I do kind of credit them in a way for jumping out in front of it and making this conference move and being like, hey, we can't afford somebody at the helm who's not going to take those things serious as we make this jump. So I was like, they'll be on their way of moving away from him. But
I guess, I mean, it looked like they're on the path to USC. Lincoln Riley isn't the wonder kid, going undefeated. I mean, looks like they got a shot there. I guess
he has to be rubbing in the wrong
Mullen, right?
Yeah, I mean, he has to be rubbing in the wrong way. I mean, he beat USC. That's a 7-4. I mean, they could end the season 8-4.
Yep, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I mean that's why you fire him, so that if you beat USC, you don't have to keep him another year, is what they figure. I don't know.
I guess, go ahead and make the decision. If you know long term it's not the goal, don't let him save his job. A la Ed Orgeron a few years ago.
I know it's a different topic. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just agreeing.
No, I mean, I know it's a different topic for a different time, but I know with Jed Fisch doing a good job at Arizona this year. He's a former Gator and everything. What are you guys' thoughts on what a job he's doing in Arizona this year?
Good job there. I need to see more before I consider anything. I need more than 1 year. But certainly with this year, it puts him on the radar of what he is going to continue to do.
Yeah, definitely. That's where I was at too. got to see a lot more because he's 14-21 as a coach.
Yeah. And honestly, the reputation of him as even as an offensive coordinator has not been all that great in recent years. So we'll see. Maybe he's a better head coach ultimately.
I don't understand how he's doing it exactly, to be honest. It's just working,
Yeah.
It's a senior laden team, that they got their own plans. I don't get it.
Not sure. I mean, I know they were projected to be pretty terrible this year.
Yeah, that quarterback they got, I don't know where they got him from, but he's like out of this world good. Like I don't know where they got him from, but he's been the difference, it seems like.
I have not watched a whole lot of them, so.
Yeah, I haven't watched too many games. I just here and there, like flipping over through games. I remember the Mississippi State game; he was really good. But I probably watched about as much of them as you have, Dave.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hopping on here. Another chat.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, good conversations tonight. Like I said, we never know where we're going with some of these, but I think we hit the topics pretty good tonight. Missouri coming up. Of course, recruiting storylines not trending too well for Florida. Hopefully some better news on the way on and off the field for the Gators. But everybody, thank you for being Gators Breakdown Plus members. Your support out there really, really means a whole lot. I know we're kind of going through some group therapy sessions right now. But, hey, we'll go through it all together right there. But everybody, thanks for being Gators Breakdown Plus members. And I'll catch you next week.
Got it. Go Gators.
Go Gators. Ocho, was that you with the no, it wasn't Ocho. Who did the sound effect?
How'd we get the outro music? It was pretty cool.
That was. Ocho said he's been waiting to try the soundboard, so I thought it was him, but I didn't see him in here.